Hi, so today we're going to be working on an iPhone 10 that was sent here for data recovery. I need to recover the data from my iPhone 10. It fell in a pool, it was completely submerged for 3 minutes. It came out of the water on, then I leave it at the sun to dry out but didn't turn it off. After a few minutes, the screen went black with a vertical green line on the right side of the screen. I put it on rice as people recommended and it became really hot. Yeah, that rice tends to make them really hot. I took it to 3 different places and they were not able to make it turn on. My data wasn't backed up, and 1 week after my phone was damaged, my long life best friend has died. All of his pictures, and I am truly sorry for your loss. I'm going to see if I can get your data, and I'm going to see if I can do this in front of everybody. So let's have a look at this thing. I do not know what I am getting into yet, but I will tell you, I am a little bit alarmed that the screen is so cracked, and also that the back is cracked. These have been some of the worst liquid damage cases because the cracks allow more water to get in. So let's go ahead and take this apart and see what we are up against. Uh-oh, no screws in the bottom. It's already a bad sign. I'm going to hyperventilate because there wasn't any screws in it. All right, so back to taking this thing apart. Well, we're already saving time because we don't have to take any screws out of it. And also, ooh, it opens up really easy. I like it when they're easy. All right, which one of you didn't put her retaining brackets back in this? Shame on you. Let's get the screen out of the way, and let's get it under the microscope right off the bat here to see if we can tell what is going on. I'm also going to disconnect the dock flex. Uh-oh. Are we going to have an easy one? I think we're actually going to get an easy one today. We're not having to take out any screws, and I see visible signs of trouble where there is always signs of trouble. And yes, a big old clunky flathead screwdriver is the best thing I have for pointing at the moment. Let's go ahead and take the board the rest of the way out of this. Now I'm going to continue taking the board out of it because there is irreplaceable data on here. And what we're going to do is basically give this just a really good visual inspection. I think what I'm looking at here is probably going to be an easy recovery, but without having a really good look at this board, like around the edges and under it, I don't want to make any like harebrained, like squirrel-like decisions and say, oh yeah, it's just that short, and like really screw this thing up. It looks to me like we have like a PP1V8 IO, or maybe like a short on one of those NAND caps. So let's find out. I think I am looking at an easy recovery, which I hardly ever get to see easy stuff anymore, guys. This will be very much welcomed. This is going to make me wish that I had knocked on wood. All right, unplug that little thing. And SIM tray. Don't forget the SIM tray. Wow, this board's like stuck in here really good. I mean, it moves around. I didn't forget a screw in it, did I? What in the world? Let's heat up the bottom of this phone a little bit. I think we got some sticky on the bottom of that board holding it in. That's what I get for thinking this is going to be quick and easy. Dude, all right, now we got the board out of it. So here's what the board looks like. You can see it's had some wiping going on underneath, you know. Somebody's had it out of there and looked at it. Now, I haven't looked at it under the microscope yet, but judging by what I see with my eyes, this is getting ready to be a really, really easy recovery. But at the same time, I'm a little bit hesitant to show this because I'm going to start receiving iPhone 10 boards with this component removed on like all of them. So let's have a look under the microscope. If we look at the top side of the board here, everything looks beautiful, right? Little to no liquid damage. You can see where I have sort of scratched at the PCB down here at the bottom right. This was my tweezers slipping as I was trying to lift it out because it was severely stuck. This board actually does not look bad. Let's have a look at its balls. Huh. Seems to me that this board most likely has fabulous balls. I'm going to say that our liquid intrusion is minimal to nothing. Let's have a look right here. On the iPhone 10, this row of components is absolutely notorious for getting liquid damaged. And when it gets liquid damaged, for whatever reason, these caps just don't like it. It's like they don't stand up too well to like seawater and urine, you know? So if we look at this row of caps here, we'll see that everything here just looks beautiful. I mean, it just looks marvelous. Until you get down here to the end, this one here looks like hell. So let's hit that with a multimeter and see what we get. I am betting that this one has a short. So let's have a look at the board view here and see exactly what that capacitor is. We're going to rotate the board as it is on the table here so I don't lose track of anything crazy. And just up here at the top left, we have C2645 and we have C2649. Now, looking back at that board, we will see that it is not the first one that looks so much funky as it is the second one. And if we look at the second one here, C2649, this is PP3V0 NAND. So what we're going to do, we're going to check and see if this line is shorted to ground. I'll bet you that it is, or at least I'm hoping that it is. I could use some easy wins here for a couple of days or a week or a month or a year or something. All right, so we'll just trim right on in here. See if we can get some exposed area to test here. All right, I'm going to be testing this in ohms mode, just because I think in ohms, although I use diode mode probably more than anything now. But if I want to see how this reading makes me feel today, I'm going to be doing this in ohms mode. So I put my black probe on ground, and I'm going to put my red probe on PP3V0 NAND, and we are getting, ooh, baby, 0.00, wait, I've got an M mega ohms. Of course we have 0 mega ohms. Let's make sure we've got this meter set to auto range. All right, here we go. We're in auto range. I've got my black probe on ground, red probe on 3V0 NAND, and we are getting 300K. So 3V0 NAND is not necessarily causing us a problem, right? 16 meg. Okay, not much going on right there on 3V0 NAND. Let's flip this up and have a look at this side again. You know, I'm really not liking the way that looks. Let's make sure we check this in a place where I know we're getting a good connection, shall we? Let's just switch back over. Let's look at the board view. And we're going to see if there's anywhere else that has not been corroded, all the crap that we can use to test that. Yes. We're going to get out here on C2651. That is the 1, 2, 3rd larger cap from the right-hand side at this orientation. So that would be this cap right here. And notice how much better the solder looks. I don't know, I think we got a good connection on that one too. We'll check it here anyways. I'm going to put my red probe on ground and my black probe on C2651. Oops. And we are getting 33,000 big ones. Nothing to be worried about there. Let's go ahead and check these other ones. Nothing going on there. Nothing going on there. Okay, let's check VCC main. On the iPhone 10, for whatever reason, VCC main has wound up right inside the display connector. You can look at this end of the display connector, and what would normally be like a ground cap is VCC main. So having a look at this display connector, black probe on ground, red probe on VCC main. Ooh, 0.7 ohms to ground. We've got a VCC main short on a liquid damaged phone. Who would have thought? Liquid damaged, VCC main short. What? VCC main on the iPhone 10. If you look at the board view, you will see that there is not a whole lot going on as far as the top side on VCC main. We could have gotten liquid in here under the shield that covers Racer. I hate it when that happens. You know, that's possible. But for the most part, our VCC main shorts, they almost always occur on the inside of the PCB. I think I have had one ever that wasn't on the inside of the PCB. So my next step for troubleshooting a VCC main short or a VDD main short on an iPhone 10 is take the board apart. That's the next step. Because honestly, if I were to try to unsolder this little shield that covers our Racer power supply area, there's a significant chance that I'm going to float the entire board anyways. So let's go ahead. We're going to take this board apart and set up for repairing a VCC main failure. So I will take the stickers off of it. And now I'm going to thread me in a handle right about here. It's like an iPhone 4 pentalobe screw. Works great. Let's get it in a board holder and turn the burner on. There we go. So now I'm going to let this warm up until I'm sure that it is completely molten, and then we're going to take the board apart and find the short. Ooh, I almost forgot to cut that sticker. We're almost there. I'm starting to smell it. Let's just push out here. All right, I have no movement out there. That was smooth, wasn't it? All right, I'm starting to get a little bit of play out here. So we're a little molten out here at the end, but we're still waiting on the rest of it. All right, I'm starting to see some play back here. This is definitely molten around here. It is definitely molten at the top. How about along this front edge here? Let's give that just a little bit more time. I try really hard to pick these up off of here when it's really molten with plenty of flux so that I don't get a bunch of oxidized pads, because that's a pain in the ass to deal with. I like to be able to just stick them right back together. Okay, we are completely molten, so we're going to grab a hold of this screw and pick it up just as a handle. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, baby. Let's turn the burner off. Now the very first thing that I'm going to do is remove our handle. Let me catch you up to speed. Looking at this under the microscope, as soon as I pulled it apart, I see that we have a really nasty cap here. Obviously we've gotten some liquid into the board halves. This one looks disgusting. This one over here looks like it's been getting hot. So one is disgusting, one is hot. Let's just browse around this board real quick and see if there's anything else that we need to be concerned about. No, nope, not really. We just got this little bit of stuff going on out here. So let's just have a look at the board view and see if we can tell what's up. So the one that looks disgusting, it is over here between these two ICs, and it is up here. This one here is C3790. It is part of VDD main. And then out here we had one that looked like it was getting hot. That is C4191. So one of these caps are really nasty, and one of them is shorted, right? Let's make sure this is still shorted. I'm going to go ahead, let's flip the board over and let's just check it with a multimeter. I'm going to put my black probe on ground, and I'll put my red probe on VDD main. And we are getting 0.7. So it is absolutely positively still shorted to ground. Now, do I want to get all technical here and narrow these down by thermal camera as to which one is screwed? Or do I just want to do it by touch? I mean, I can pretty well just like feel it. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go ahead and just hook a power supply up to it. And we'll hook this up on the board side. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of flip it over. I'm going to put one finger on this cap and one finger on that cap. And then I'm going to turn the power supply on, and we are getting, I'm doing it real quick because I don't want to burn myself. Neither one? Maybe my gloves are shielding it a little bit. Let's use a drop of alcohol. There we go. Ooh, baby. See how fast it dries off? So my fingers don't feel the heat, you know, probably partially because I have gloves on. But the alcohol reveals it. Yeah, that one's not getting hot out there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and slap a new cap on this thing. Let's just go ahead and get the old one out of the way here as professionally as possible. I'm going to insert my tool right next to it and begin a little shimmy there and shimmy that off the board. We like shimmying things, right? All right, let's get some flux on it. And you know what? There's some really nasty funk going on right next to this thing. Let's see if I can do that. All right, let's warm up this board and switch this crummy lead-free solder over to leaded, shall we? Okay, I give up. I'm putting it in a board holder. Okay, let's try this again. Let's switch this crummy lead-free over to leaded. It's easy to tell where the ground joint is. It's this one out here closest to me. There we go. A little more solder. There we go. So we got a couple of nice domes on there. Now we've lowered our melting point of the solder that's right there. So I know I can melt that without disturbing the CPU. But just to be extra cautious, we are going to go ahead. I'm going to throw a heat sink over this side. And now we're going to drop us a brand spanking new capacitor in there. And let's start warming this up and get this to drop down on there, shall we? Let's try to do it without blowing the first one away. I always seem to blow the first one away. Okay, here we go. Number 1, 2, oops. Beautiful, we'll take it. Now we'll take a little bit of alcohol, clean up this spot. Let's see if we can get the data. Now there are a lot of VDD main caps on here. You all have likely seen me many times leave these off. It's something I get criticized for from time to time. Often whenever it is just data that I'm after and the board's in really bad shape, you know, I'm just going to knock that cap off of there and move on. But this is a board that actually looks really good. And if they were to, you know, if the rest of the housing is okay, this could actually be a working phone. Of course, we're not really, no one's going to notice that cap anyways. Still like to put them back the way that I found them. And right now I'm sort of picking around looking for dissolved solids and other things that might cause us any issues. So I'm going to clean this up just a bit more here, and then let's see if we can get the data. Scrub, scrub, scrub. All right, that looks pretty good. We'll take it out of the board holder. And then let's see if our short is gone. We will put our black probe on ground, and we will put our red probe on VCC main, and we are getting 30, 50, 5,000 big ones, folks. That means our VDD, what was I saying? That means our VDD main short is gone, and let's see if we can get some data. I'm not going to bother with a jig or anything. We're just going to put this board right back together. Early on in these repairs, I would put it in the eye socket and like sort of test these things. Now I just don't do that anymore. So I'm going to warm that board up just a little bit. And while it is warming, I'll take my flux and just kind of touch it. That right along the edges. We just want to make sure we got some fresh flux on here. Primarily to get data, we need it to have working touch and we need working NFC. Otherwise, you cannot enter the passcode. All right, so we've got it pretty well fluxed. And now, with the heat off, I will begin lining this board up. We just basically, I line it up on there roughly with my eyes, and then we'll throw it under the microscope and finish that alignment process. Okay, we've got this thing fairly well lined up, and the next thing that we will do is just turn the burner on and let it sit here and bake for a while. I'm gonna let this thing heat up, settle down onto the board, and then come back to this whenever I'm ready to continue, and hopefully this time I don't forget to press record. Wow, that thing went all the way down on there flat. I hardly ever have that sort of luck after I've used hot air on them. I wind up having to clamp them. I cannot see any raising of the logic board out at the end. It's like totally flat. Cool. All right, this thing is all the way up to temp and looks to have settled down nicely. Let's turn the heat off and then we wait once more. All right, it is pretty well cooled off now. Let's go ahead and get this board up out of the holder. And also make dang sure it's cooled off. All right, let's look at it under the microscope. Boy, that just really settled down under good all the way out to the end. Totally, completely usable. Now for the next stage of this recovery, I'm going to be using my own housing. We're going to put the customer's board in this housing because I know that it has a charged battery. I know that I've got a semi-working screen assembly and that the dock flex is good. So with this combination of known good hardware, I should be able to make a backup of this phone. I'm first going to test this from a DC power supply to make sure we've got good, we don't have any crazy currents anywhere. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and hook the power supply up. Right there. Turn the supply on cautiously. Looking good, 10 milliamps. Oops. And we're going to press the button to boot. And 1, 2, 3. Boot. 80 milliamps. 130. We've got an Apple logo. Woo, woo, woo. Apple logo. Yay! Apple logo. Yes! I've been through so many of these, I'm no longer surprised to see an Apple logo. Let's let this thing boot up. I'm going to make sure it boots, and then I'm so excited I'm forgetting to watch our current. I just want to make sure it boots. We have working touch, and then I'm going to go back to a battery and get a backup. Da-da-da. Apple logo. Come on, baby. Don't freeze on the Apple logo. Please don't freeze on the Apple logo. I need to eat. Still Apple logo. Woo, booted, yes. All right, so now we've made it past the Apple logo and we have, oh, I popped the power supply off of it before I could verify that we have touch, dang it. All right, let's just go ahead and hook up the battery. And connect this sucker to iTunes. Here we go. We're going for the data, baby, and I know I've got a passcode because I looked and verified it first. All right. Okay, do we have touch? We have working touch. All right. So let's go ahead and get that passcode in there. Ah, yes, working passcode. All right, so now we're going to say trust. Put that passcode in once more. Come on, baby. We're going to abort any kind of synchronizing crap that starts as fast as we can. And I'm going to go ahead and say backup now. There we go. All right, from here, I'm going to let this backup finish. I'll get a full iTunes backup of the phone, and then I will create a parsed backup that is really easy to browse from a computer. The full backup is really only good for restoring to a phone or if you have special software to open it, like 3U tools. But for my customers, I return them both the full backup of the entire phone as well as a backup that's been parsed. So they've got a flash drive they can plug in. It's got a list of folders, you know, camera roll, messages. It's got everything in a human readable format, so it's really easy to browse from a computer. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna let this finish up and move on to my next one. That is gonna be the end of this video. I really thank you all for watching. As always, the links to the tools that I use are in the description below. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you soon. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching.